Well, the reduction in air traffic controllers is not the only thing testing air travelers' patience these days, and it's not only the big airports that are going to be affected. Craig Smith spent part of the day at Albany International, just one airport that is not immune to Washington budget cuts, it turns out. Craig?
Right, Liz. The airlines are not announcing when part of a delay might be attributed to the sequester. So as long as the delays are not long delays, people tend to shrug it off. But still, airport officials suggest a little extra planning before your trip might save a big headache after it's begun. Steve Morgan flew in from Baltimore this afternoon with the sense that staffing cutbacks might have held him up to some degree.
If there's delays, it bothers everybody, but, you know, Washington wants to save money, so this is one of the ways. Hopefully Congress will straighten it out and we'll get back to the norm.
Airport spokesman Doug Myers told us how the FAA cuts could affect people flying and suggested a way to avoid a bigger problem.
With fewer FAA eyes on the sky, there are fewer slots available, so they stretch those planes out a little more. There's a lot of empty space between them because they don't have the eyes on the sky. The plane that would have gone in that space may have to sit on the ground and wait for another slot. Give yourself a little bit of extra time for that connecting flight, because if your flight to or from a hub is delayed, your connecting flight may leave without you. Aircraft are now operating at or near capacity. If they are, you might not get the next flight. You might not get the next day.
According to the deputy administrator at the Transportation Safety Administration, the TSA is working with $288 million less than it had last fiscal year. At larger airports, travelers who are used to waiting 30 to 40 minutes during busy times may wait twice as long as staff levels decrease. Congressman Paul Tonko voted against sequestration and says there is a solution.
It's accomplished by taking the president's budget for one, our alternative budget as a Democratic caucus in the House for another, and saying, hey, look, here's a balanced approach. Here's revenues we introduce. We close loopholes.
Congressman Chris Gibson voted in favor of sequestration. He says the air traffic controller cuts are not mandated.
Air traffic controllers have always been deemed mission essential, and I'm not sure what's changed, and I don't think that they should be furloughed.
I asked an FAA spokesman whether furloughs were specifically mandated. He answered by emailing two transcripts of FAA Administrator Michael Huerta speaking before a Senate committee, saying payroll is the FAA's biggest operating cost and that sequester cuts forced these 47,000 furloughs. Craig Smith, CBS 6 News.